Welcome to this video. If you're watching it, it's probably because you got a one-on-one pitch session coming up with me. Now the last lot sold out in record time, and the few people that couldn't make the dates and cancelled, we put them up again and they sold out within a minute. So we're going to have an hour, and there's a good chance there's going to be someone waiting there to come in and take your place when your hour's up. So we need to make sure we get through as much as we can so you get the best result you can from the hour we spend together. Now, the good news is a lot of you have come to me already or spoken to Wendy and said, what do I need to bring so I'm prepared for the session so I can get the most out of it? And the fundamental thing you must come along with is a very, very clear understanding of what you are pitching. Now, I've made this video, which is going to be a slightly longer video than you might be used to watching, but if you hang on till the end, you're going to get a lot of information out of it, which will mean that we can be clear on what you are pitching so we can get into the covert techniques that will really help you get a much better result when it comes to putting your product and service out there. The trouble is, when you start to get that better result, you're going to find there's going to be a lot of people after you. They're going to try and bring you down a peg or two. That's just what's going to happen as you grow in business, because you're going to become a greater threat to their business. Your competitors are going to go after you if you're in skincare. You'll find that people in skincare will often complain, competitors go and complain to regulators about the claims they make, just trying to create noise and distraction. If people are in coffee or food, hospitality, they will often get false reviews on Google. People will go after them that way. Same in construction. If you're in wholesale food or beverage, you'll find that maybe going into a supermarket is tough because the bigger players are going to pay for that premium shelf space at eye level, and your product might be down the bottom or up higher level, out the way where it's harder for people to see. Now in beer, if you go into a restaurant or a pub, the big players will pay for the beer taps to be installed, so they own the taps in the pub and only their beer can go onto those taps, or they'll buy the year's rights to that tap, which could be $5,000 to $10,000 for a beer tap. Now, many of you that know I've got a brewery, Thug Life Brewing. We will be about 2 years old coming up to the end of this financial year. So around June 30, we'll be just about 2 years old. Now, if you looked at $5,000 to $10,000 for a beer tap, we'll have about 16 at that point in time. So the value of buying those beer taps is about $80,000 to $200,000 for that space. So if you have to pay for that, it's tough. And that's why we use the UFC formula to categorize how our product is defined. Okay, so the first one, we go to UFC. The first one is the negative one, so we'll get that out of the way, the U. If your product falls into this category, then there's going to have to be some work done on either your pitch, who you're talking to, or the product itself, because that sort of product is undesirable. Now generally, if your product's undesirable, it's for a couple of reasons. One, it's your pitch, which we'll sort out in this session. It could be the product, or it could be the prospect. You're talking to the wrong person. The second category is a little bit more positive, or the most positive of the three, which is the fantastic. If your product is fantastic, you've got no problems. If it's undesirable, you're probably going to hear comments like, it's not right for me at this time, or if I know somebody that wants that kind of product, I'll refer them to you. So people will divert the buying. Generally, people aren't going to be too unsupportive of you. So if your product is undesirable, they'll just try and divert it away from them. If it's fantastic, people will buy. You'll be seeing the buying signals. How can I get it? Where's it available? If they buy it, they'll be coming back for more. And if your product is truly fantastic, really, really fantastic, people will buy it and refer their friends, and you'll get that snowball effect. You'll push it down the hill a bit, and as the snowball gathers, it'll gather more and more snow and grow organically. But there is a third product category, which many products, it could be services too, so we're just calling them products for the simplicity of this video. But what you offer could also fall into this category, which is also highly saleable. So these two are saleable, this one's not saleable. And this product, this category here, is what we call the craptastic category. Now you might know some craptastic products. They sound good, but they really don't offer a lot of value. So, you know, you look at things like Big Macs, 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. It sounds like you're eating a salad. Speak to any nutritionist and they're probably not going to tell you it's the best thing in the world for you. Coca-Cola is a drink full of sugar, but the adverts sell you something completely different. They sell you on a fantastic drink that's going to give you a fantastic lifestyle. People running around beaches with 6-packs and really slim toned bodies. Coca-Cola is probably not going to do that for you. Mars bars, they chocolate bars, they sell you on work, rest and playing. Nestle sold baby formula as a better alternative to breast milk. Craptastic product in many, many people's eyes, but still they sold terribly well. Terribly, terribly well. Now, the thing that is going to categorize your product into either a desirable product or an undesirable product or a fantastic or a craptastic product, a product that is going to sell reasonably well, is if we were to put it on a set of scales, then over this side or this side, this is the desire to buy, and this is the money you spend or the debt you go into to buy that product. Now, some of you would have been to seminars where there's public speakers, professional presenters on stage, and you've sat in the audience and you or someone you know or someone sitting next to you has bought a product that falls into one of these two categories. It's either a fantastic product or a craptastic product. They've either signed up, spent the money, got a fantastic result, it's changed their life, they've earned more money, they've become happier, lost weight, whatever it is, or they've got absolutely no result at all, or a very little result. They haven't necessarily earned or got the money back that they thought they would get by doing this seminar. So just to give you an idea of craptastic products, fantastic products. Now, the desire to buy is far greater than the amount of pain handing over cash or going into debt, then your product is going to sell. So why is this relevant to you and why are we going on about this now? Why am I making such a big deal of it? Well, the thing is, if your product is falling in the undesirable category, it could be because your product isn't right. No one wants what you're offering. It could be you're talking to the wrong prospect. Your product isn't right for that person. Or it could be you're pitching the product. Now, if you're pitching the product, you're pitching the wrong thing. What you need to maybe refocus on is creating this desire. And this desire, we'll put it here as an emoji. This desire is based on what your customers want. The future happiness that's going to come by putting their hand in their product, in their pocket, committing the time, whatever it is they need to do, versus what they're going to get out of your product longer term. So let's take some pretty simple examples. Let's say your product is SEO. SEO is a big one because it's generally not sold very well. People will go out and they'll sell the SEO product. They'll talk about the product. They'll talk about what they're going to do, how they do it, why SEO, what strategies they use for SEO. What you would really need to be doing if SEO is your product is you need to talk about the results that the SEO is going to get you, the examples you've set for other customers. At the end of the day, it's like, more people coming to my website doesn't necessarily help me out unless I'm going to make more sales from it, unless I'm going to get more significance from people hearing my message, if that's my desire. SEO is a product that if you sell it as SEO, people are looking at your time to do that SEO versus what they think you're worth. So they think you're worth $100 an hour, for example, and the SEO that you're the work to do the SEO is going to take you 10 hours, and they're pretty much thinking you're worth $1,000. Whereas if you're selling the desire, all of a sudden you're going to bring more clients to me. I'm going to sell more product. I'm going to sell more public speaking training. Then all of a sudden I'm thinking, how much more money can I make from this? Now, if I'm going to make $100,000 from this SEO, from the SEO work that you do for me, all of a sudden your value is a lot greater to me. Because if I'm going to make $100,000, well then $10,000 is relatively cheap, as opposed to the $1,000 if I'm thinking about what you're worth on an hourly rate. Now they're just fictitious figures I pulled from the air just to create a bit of an example of why and how this works. But if you're selling consulting services, people don't pay because they want to consult somebody. Consulting somebody isn't something that is of high value to me or anybody else. The results from the consulting are the things that I'm looking for. The pitching workshop you're coming to it because you know that when you can pitch better, your life's going to get better. You're going to make more sales. You're going to influence more people. Pitching for me has, given me some fantastic results. It's taken me all across the States, Philippines, Indonesia, Bali, all across Australia, paid for by somebody else. So this is a great result. And many of you would see that and think, maybe that's something I want in my life as well. You're looking for the result of being able to pitch well. And that's why you're coming to this workshop. That's why you're coming to bigger workshops, group sessions. Not because you want to consult me, not because you want coaching by me, not because you want to know how to pitch. It's because you want the result from that pitching. So I hope this is making sense, because once we can determine this, which is pretty much what you're pitching, we can start to think about those strategies, the covert strategies that will help you get this message across in conversation, on stage, in your writing, in your videos, so that you can start to sell more of your product. Now, one thing that you do need to be particularly careful of when you're considering this, many of you, or the people you know, will start to look at this and assume they know what their customers want. Sometimes they will think about what their customers need, which is very different to what their customers want. We are looking at desire here. We're looking at what your customers want, not necessarily what they need. People don't always buy what they need, they buy what they want. They're compelled to buy what they want. They buy what they need if they have to. We want them compelled to buy your product. We want them with an overwhelming sense of, I must have it. That's when you've got a great pitch. So don't assume you know what your customers want. Do some market testing, validation. The other big mistake that many people make in this space, and I'm sure you're not going to, because we've spent a little bit of time discussing this now, but the other big mistake people make is they put their wants for their customer in this space rather than what their customer actually wants. So your customer's language, what they want, what they feel they need, is the most important thing here. Once we determine that, we know what you're pitching, we can shift your product, and if it is in this undesirable category at the moment, if your product is in this undesirable category, if we shift from talking about your product in the pitch to talking about what your customer wants in the pitch, we will move it to one of these. At very least, we'll move it to what we call a craptastic product, but if your product is great, then we're going to move it to that fantastic product page there, where people will start to give you those buying signals and talk about what you want. So if you can go through this and have a really good think about what we've discussed so far, so that we can get down to this, what it is your customers want, in terms of the result of purchasing the product or service or whatever it is you offer, then we can get through that pitching workshop. We can go through all the strategies that are going to help you change the way you pitch your product and make it much better. If you've hung in here this long, congratulations, and I look forward to seeing you next week.